What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. More DN dual commentary. We got the homeboy Hop at the bottom, 1649. I assume he's playing Thunder Family. And we've got Yugioh, 1447. Now, not to go on, like a stalking spree or anything like that, but when I find somebody who has a really good rating and knows how to play the game skillfully, and they're playing something original like Thunder Family or Constellars or Watts, you're probably going to see them pop up on these DN duels a couple of times. So yeah, Hop, he told me that he was about to play some competitive games, and I was like, hell yeah, because all the matches that I've been seeing, let's turn that off, he's pretty much been smashing people. Like, I've seen him play a couple of Mermail guys. You guys saw that match. He smashed them. Been playing Evil Swarm. He's been smashing that. So hopefully he can continue this little run he has. Now, I wonder if he plays against Yugioh, how he's going to fare, because Yugioh seems like it's kind of built to beat a deck like, it says that it's kind of built to beat a deck like Thunder Family. And these two consider each other rivals, so this should be even more interesting. And there's that Giraffe. I mean, that card is just... that motherfucker is... Can you just imagine, like, when somebody summons Ma Thunder, and then they summon Giraffe, and you actually have to use, like, a Fiendish Chain on a fucking Giraffe because you don't want to get, like, Exotonited, or you don't want to, get your monster 101. Like, that's so pathetic, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that you actually have to use removal on Giraffe. Like, it feels so bad. Alright, so anyways, you see that, Hop goes for duality. He gets the Giraffe. He attacks with Giraffe. And let's see if it's going to actually go. Now, I guess Mirror Force would be one of the biggest, and best ways to actually counter. So, alright. So, it looks like Yugioh is thinking, so he's like, alright, well, if you're thinking about doing a play, then I'm technically still in main phase 1, which makes perfect sense. I guess Hop might be reading this as a Mermail match, and he might be reading this as Lindy. Okay, so we now know what we're playing against. Yugioh flips over Fiendish Wind Blast, and that should go to the top of the deck. And this set, I think, is White Stone, and I wouldn't attack it. Ooh, it's Fire Hands. And that's unfortunate. Now, I didn't read Fire Hand, I'm not going to lie. Like, I didn't read this as a Fire or Ice Hand. But I wouldn't have attacked it simply because Yugioh seemed very... Like, he seemed so desperate to try and... He seemed so desperate to try and make sure that he could resolve that effect. So I kind of just assumed it was White Stone a Legend and that he didn't want to get it run over. So you see, during the end phase, he gets blasted with an MST. And then Hop summons Pot Thunder and Sis Thunder. Sis Thunder is like... Sis Thunder is what makes this deck rock and roll, man. It gets you pluses upon pluses. It's like she comes down, she removes Pot Thunder or, Thunder Seahorse. You get that card in the end phase. And as you see, he goes into Buja and Tsukuyomi. He gets rid of Giraffe because that's probably not going to help him right now. Then he goes +1 on the Tsukuyomi, or at least he won for ones. But then he gets the Ma Thunder back. So he's actually like in a really good position. Now you see that Yugioh summons another Ice Hand. Now it's like you kind of have to go to an XC here. So if this is a real card, excuse me, if this is a real card like Bottomless or something decent, I'm not really sure how you did anything extraordinary. Now he ends up falling in the Black Horn. I don't really agree with what Yugioh did. I just would have set, but I would have set the second Ice Hand. It's like you look at the move he did, right? Now, if you would have fell in the Bottomless, all you would have done was you would have killed Tsukuyomi, and it's like, how much advantage did you give, or how much advantage did you make? Now, granted, if he has Soul Charge, okay, when you have Soul Charge, you can play way more aggressive than if you don't. So if he has Soul Charge, obviously his play is gonna make a lot more sense. So we're gonna see what Yugioh's gonna do here, and Yugioh's looking at his extra deck. I mean, he has Blue Eyes Engrave, he has Fire Hand, he has 2 Ice Hands. I think those are his 4 monsters engraved. He could hypothetically summon Tidal by removing both Ice Hands, and then he could summon Blaster by removing Fire Hand and Blue Eyes, and he could go into Draco Sap. Maybe that's why he's looking at his graveyard. Okay, he goes into Soul Charge. and I would imagine he goes for 2, Blue Eyes and Fire Hand, which means he's probably going to go for a passive play. I thought he would have went for 4. I would have went for 4, and I would have Diamond Direwolf this. Although he's playing Mythic Rulers, and I'm not sure if they play Diamond Direwolf. I don't think they do, because I don't think they've got room for it. I think the only rank 4s that they run are probably 101, because that card is like fucking staple, and Exoton Knight, because that shit's like staple too. I'd be hard pressed to find them running another what's it called? Another rank 4, maybe Abyss Dweller against like Mermill, and that's it. Maybe Boojins. Nah, just pretty much Mermill. All right, so you see that Hop summons Paw Thunder, Ma Thunder, and then Thunder Seahorse. He probably does this because he probably wants to be able to activate Tsukiyumi's effect, discarding 1 and then drawing 2, and then going to an Ixie. And that's exactly what he did. He discards Honest, and then he draws 2. Now, I'm not going to lie, that's kind of a bitch to have to discard Honest. Like, that is one of the clutchest cards in your deck, but I agree with the concept of the play. I agree with the play of get your hand down to 1, use Tsukiyumi, and then draw 2. It sucks that it had to be Honest. Now, he's probably going to go into... He might go Dweller. Okay, he goes into Diamond Direwolf. Diamond Direwolf to blow up Blue Eyes. And he uses it on Tsukiyumi. Oh, and then he goes into Soul Charge. Oh, that shit was sick. So he's going to get 4. And here's the one thing that I noticed. Again, the first time I ever used it and I had Honest in my graveyard, I was like, holy shit, I can bounce Honest right to my hand. So you see he goes for Watt Giraffe, Ma Thunder, Pa Thunder. And he goes into another Tsukiyumi. He's abusing Tsukiyumi. Gets rid of Duality, which is great because it's not a card he's probably going to be using anytime soon. He draws 2. And now it looks like he's going to Exceed again. I think that's going to be... Okay, Blackhorn. That makes sense. Blackhorn gets him the +1. And then it also gets rid of Firehand. Also does damage. I was thinking maybe he was going to do Dweller. But Blackhorn makes more sense because it's like, why wait for your opponent to potentially draw an out to Blackhorn when you can just, summon. Alright, so he summons Firehand, and granted, he can clear a bunch of cards on his opponent's field. I still like the Tsukiyumi, I still like the Blackhorn effect. If he would have went Abyss Dweller, I could have understood that too, but he could have he could have just normal summoned Firehand and then went 101. Alright, so Bujin Tsukiyumi is going to die from Firehand's effect, and Wakeil is going to summon Ice Hand, and that's probably going to crash again into Diamond Direwolf. Now he flips over Mind Crush, and he calls Soul Charge. Now I'm not going to lie, even if this doesn't work, I like this play, and I'm going to explain why. If he has Soul Charge, that shit would be crazy. Does he not? Okay, alright, yeah. Here's why I like this play, and I thought this shit was pro from Hop, is because, look, there's really not a downside from this. Not only does Ice Hand not get its effect, wow. that was incredible. Not only was Ice Hand not going to get its effect, but if your opponent didn't have Soul Charge, how the fuck were they going to come back in that game? You know what I mean? Like, he hadn't drawn any Dragon Rulers so far in the duel, so it's very unlikely that he would have had 2 Dragon Rulers in hand, and that was an incredible play. So once again, Hop is playing very impressively. The Mind Crush was exceptional there. Now, I find it interesting that he's running Mind Crush and Blackhorn in the main deck, but it's like, you look at the way this format is, like, can you blame him? Like, really, what is Mind Crush bad against? Like, it's good against Fire Fist because you hit whatever they Tinky for, which automatically makes it good against Boojins because we run 3 Tinky too, and not to mention you can also call Crane, which is a card that we search all the time. You know what I mean? Boojin Carnation is a card we search all the time too. Giraffe obviously because they flip armor and then you just call Accelerator. And then Mermill, they try and, activate Teus and Megalo, and you can fucking Mind Crush them when they activate the effect. So you look at Mind Crush, that's good against everything. You look at Black Horn of Heaven. I think Black Horn of Heaven is good against everything, with the exception being Mermill. I would never, ever, ever play Black Horn of Heaven against Mermill. I want to use like the minimal amount of back row possible when I play against Mermill. You know what I mean? But outside of that, Black Horn of Heaven it's kind of one of those cards where if it sits on your field long enough, eventually you will get a chance to activate it against everything but maybe Fire Fist. Fire Fist is the only other deck outside of Mermail you might not get a chance to, because if they just get if they get, Bear, Tinky, Pop going, they don't actually need to exceed. You could kind of make an argument with Boojins, but Boojins have to be like really rolling you. At some point, the deck will probably exceed. Even if it's after they've stacked a couple of Carnations, eventually I will exceed. Alright, so game 2, Yugioh opens up with Upstart Goblin, giving 1,000 life points. I really, really, really don't like Upstart Goblin now. Like, I don't know if I ever made my disdain clear for this card. I tried it in Boojins a very long time ago. I hated it because there were many times where I could OTK with like Crane or Honest, and I just couldn't because I gave my opponent 1,000. But now that Soul Charge is out, that's just another card for your opponent. Like, that's another monster, and I really like Upstart Goblin. That's that shit I don't like. I don't like that card. Not at all. Alright, so you see that Hop goes for My Thunder, and he just attacks, and that was a pretty good read. Maybe he was reading that as Ice Hand, and he just wanted to, not give his opponent a whole field of monsters to potentially try and blow up. So you see he just summons Pa. He gets he does go -1, but it's a manageable -1. Granted, you might get hit a couple of times for 1,400, but then you see Yugioh overcommits, and he ends up losing both of his monsters, so that +1 that he just got was just evaporated, or just was nullified by Torrential Tribute. Now Hop summons Sis Thunder, and if he lets that go, he's going to go +1 during the end phase. And that's the thing about this Watt deck. It's like, you feel so bad. Again, you feel so bad using shit like Phoenix Chain or Book of Moon or Effect Veiler on a damn Sis Thunder, but if you don't, your opponent will eventually, like, they'll just 1-for-1 you all day. Now, this is a deck where it has a means to an end, and that end is, rank 4 exceeds, and it kind of needs that end to win, but it doesn't sit right with me using removal on, Sis Thunder or, Watt Giraffe. But these plays add up, you know what I mean? If he keeps going plus with Sis Thunder, then it's like eventually Yugioh will run out of cards. So you see Hop just sets one and he passes turn. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of reading Honest here. I mean, for him to not special summon anything else, I'm sort of reading Honest. Now, I don't think he'll use Honest now because he countered with Fire Hand. Okay, he uses Phoenix Chain. That kind of makes sense because he can go Dweller and attack. He can go Dweller. He could go Diamond Direwolf. Those are the two best options if he wants to get over this while using an Exceed. He could summon Watt Giraffe. He could attack and then, make something main phase 2. You see he's going into an Exceed. I think he's going to go Black Ship of Corn again. And we're going to see what happens here. Because even if this Exceed fails, the Pot Thunder was paid for by the Sis Thunder, so you're kind of playing with house money here. And, maybe your opponent Blackhorns you. Even if they do Blackhorn you, okay, well, you can't use Fire Hand anyway. So the only way for you to actually be able to get aggressive, the only way for Yugioh to get aggressive in this match is to Exceed, and there are a bunch of different ways to counter Exceed. So I look at Hop Summon right here if he goes into Dweller or Diamond Direwolf, and I kind of feel like he's playing with house money. I think, alright, so he has 1 Fire Hand in Graveyard, 2 Ice Hands. I think I'd probably go Direwolf. Like, Abyss Dweller is good, but Abyss Dweller requires an attack, which, you might run into, like, Mirror Force or some shit. Black Ship of Corn has better stats, and then, since your opponent already has shown you 4 ice or 4 hands, the chances of them top decking another hand is like really, really low. So I go into Black Ship of Corn. So Hop is thinking about what he wants to do, and he goes into Black Ship of Corn. Again, if it falls into a bottom list, then it doesn't matter if you made Dweller or Corn. They were both going to get bottom list anyway. So right now, I feel like Corn is the better play. You inflict damage, you don't have to attack, and it has a bigger body in case it gets run over. He flips over Phoenix for 1 blast, showing or discarding a Redox. Now again, it didn't matter what you did here, your monster was going to end up getting spun to the extra deck. And it's not like the Fire Hand can attack anyway because it has a Fiendish on it. So I think that Hop is fine with the Black Ship of Corn being spun. He could have a soul charge, which if I had soul charge, honestly, I wouldn't even use it right now. I'm not sure if I would pass. Maybe I'd just set a bluff or some shit like that. But yeah, I wouldn't even use it. Now you see Yugioh, he just keeps drawing all of his hands. And I guess he's probably going to say it. Why am I constantly drawing these pieces of shit? And I kind of agree with them. I mean, he's drawn like 4 of them this game, and last game he was drawing a ton of them. So you see he Fire Hand can attack. Now he can go for a rank 4, but what rank 4 would actually do something against an empty field? I'm not quite sure. So he plays Recharging Batteries, which gets him his 2 Thunder Monsters. And he goes right back for Black Ship of Corn. He goes for Black Ship of Corn again. This time he hits Ice Hand. And Yugioh's going to take 1,000. Now, as far as I'm concerned, he's kind of on the clock because he will lose another 1,000 if he leaves this on board. So if he has another level 4, he needs to exceed now. But he's already used so many of his level 4s. He has, what, 5 in the... he has 5 in his graveyard. Now, he put that guy in defense mode, which doesn't really change anything because... it's not like he was going to attack it, I guess. And you see that Hop activates Thunder Seahorse, which gets him 2 Watt Giraffes. And I guess Watt Giraffe is just going to attack for 1,200. And you saw this playing Hop's last game. He doesn't really care about the Watt Giraffe on field. It's having the Watt Giraffe in hand that kind of creates the lock. Because if this guy dies, all he's going to do is just summon another one, attack, and then he's going to, probably use like Ma Thunder alongside of it to go into whatever it see he wants to, and you won't be able to Warning it or Black Hornet or Phoenix Wind Blast. And then if you don't kill this, he'll just keep attacking with it. So you see his opponent go Soul Charge, and I think he's asking for targets here. Now he has to be careful because this is a rank 4 deck, and he will Cowboy immediately. I feel like Hop will Cowboy immediately, so he has to be careful. He goes for 2, and he gets Max Seed. He's just gonna pass because, he has a level 7 and a level 4. Although he could go for a Synchro, he goes for a Synchro, level 8. He goes into Stardust Dragon, which honestly is not a very good card against. It's not good at all against Watts. Or excuse me, it's not very good against Thunder. He's about to find out why. He does get a free Blue Eyes. Unfortunately, he did give Hop an extra card. Here's why this was a very bad decision for him. All Hop has to do, he doesn't even have to summon. All he has to do is just attack with Watt Giraffe and then go 101. Like, he doesn't really have to commit any extra cards to board unless he maybe he's trying to maybe go for game. Now he summons Sis Thunder. I don't know if he has anything in his graveyard to activate. I would assume he has something. Wait, he has Thunder Seahorse. Okay, well he goes for Pot Thunder. He's gonna banish Pot Thunder. And Watt Giraffe attacks. And if he takes that 1100, it's game. Okay, so in the start of battle phase, he activates Skill Drain, which is perfectly fine. Unfortunately, Hop had Honest, so it was just a lose-lose. If he would have not used Skill Drain, he would have ended up losing to Cowboy in main phase 2. And then, having the Honest was just pretty much icing on the cake. So, Hop played the game really well, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, as always.